as part of our breaking barriers, understanding SEN, special education need, particularly we're focusing on, as it says on the poster, dyslexia and dyscalculia, due to how important the topic is. And upon the depth of my research, I realized that today's section is probably the best thing to do is to focus on dyslexia, and we'll push the dyscalculia and dysgraphia to another date, inshallah. But for today's section, we'll be focusing on dyslexia and who are our dyslexic student, people, or children. So without any further delay, so this is going to be the outline of the seminar today. So introduction, understanding dyslexia, giving the definition and some simulations. What are the signs and early identification strategies for teachers, strategies for parents, and practical tools that we can use to aid any of our dyslexia people. So why are we here today? Simply because it takes a village to raise a child. It's very important as teachers, as parents, as caregivers, to understand what our children need, our student needs, so we can help them to excel, irrespective of their learning difficulty they might be facing. So, what is SEND? Special education needs and disability. First of all, I would like to preempt us when we hear the word disability. We only tend to associate that with something as a taboo or something that is unheard of, or something we don't need to let people know that we do have. So disability here could be come as difficulties if any of us find out heavy in the heart. So a pupil has SEND if they significantly have greater difficulty in learning than the majority of other in the same age. So the first I would like us to do right now, I think we have how many participants? So it's only 50. So I would like you to scan the QR code, and I would love to hear from you. What are the first things that will come to your mind when you hear the term dyslexia? If you haven't heard of that term before, it's okay. But if you've seen it before, or you've heard it somewhere before, please scan the QR code and type. It's anonymous, so I'm not going to see who type what. So feel free to type as many as you can. So type. It could be one word. It could be more than one word. It could be a sentence. What comes to mind when you hear dyslexia or someone being dyslexic? I'll give us just like maybe about 15 seconds to do that. I'm going to try and share another screen of mine so we can have a look at the results together.
Thank you for joining the program. If you feel like you want to contribute, you can raise up your hand and I'll give you the mic. Everyone is muted by default. Thank you.
I'm going to share the chat. So whoever wants to participate, I want to know what comes to mind when you hear the term dyslexia. So click on the link in the chat and then type your answer. So we have some people, we have some answers here. So someone said different. So just bear with me. I'm just Anyway, this technical glitches happen every now and then. What we do is you can just type on the chat. Actually, I'm struggling to, yeah, just type it on the group chat. Sorry, on the chat box. If you can do that for me, I'll appreciate. So we have 14 participants. So what comes to mind? Or see things differently or learn differently. Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Anthony. Welcome to the seminar. Anyone else? So anyway, without further delay, can you see my screen now? Admin, is my screen visible?
100%, yeah.
So reading difficulty, okay, reading difficulty, thank you for that. Another thing I would like to ask, how many, what's the percentage of people that suffer from dyslexia? So I wanted to type on the group, on the chat as well. Okay, someone, slow learning. Okay, I'm getting some answers. We're going to stay here for maybe for 1 more minute. See things differently. Someone said reading difficulty. Dyslexia is learning difficulty that makes it harder to read. Okay. My good boy, that was Sophia, and slow learning. Disorder in learning. Okay. So one in how many people suffer from dyslexia? Is it 1 in 10, 1 in 15 people, 1 in 20, 1 in 2, 1 in 3? It's just like an icebreaker, just to get us familiarize ourselves. Something said 15%, someone said 1 in 10. Okay. So alhamdulillah, we have an idea of the topic that will be going to today. 5%, 15%. Okay, thank you. Excellent. So back to the slide. So yes, that's 1 in 5 individuals has dyslexia. 1 in 5. So 1 in 5, which if you were to put on a world scale, that would be 1.64 billion people are diagnosed with dyslexia, which make dyslexia as the most common learning difficulty, okay, or the most common learning difference that we have, okay. So this means, you know, you will have a dyslexic student in your classroom as a teacher. And if you have a community of people, there's more likely that people will have children with dyslexia. So it's a very important topic that we have to talk about and then get to know how to help these children. So again, as the child get older, dyslexia can often look like what? Often look like having difficult spelling simple words. We learned how to read aloud in the classroom. This is something that I regret doing as I was young, still, you know, learning my trade as a teacher. And I like to call people to read. And this is one of the biggest lessons I've learned through the research, through studying special education need and disability. You don't call people out to read aloud, let them volunteer. But this is something we're used to, especially being African in Nigeria. They point out to you, what's the formula? Can you read this? Can you read that? Or spell this word? So, and also confusing letters. These are just, we're still going to go into details about dyslexia. So some of the fact again, we have 2 types, phonological dyslexia and surface. Now, 50%, like someone mentioned, of the world population, if you were to put people that with dyslexia, which is 1.64 billion, that is about 15% of the world population. And that's the size of combined Nigeria, USA, Brazil, UK, Japan, and Russia together. If you were to put dyslexic people in one in a number, this is the size of them. So is a something that is common, but in some cases, in some continent, is not often spoken about. So our next thing, we would like to just take a quick shot to look at this video, which is like a simulation, how dyslexic people feel. Let me know if the sound is okay. Is it audible, admin? Can you just type? Can you hear the sound?
No.
You can't hear? I'm gonna play. No, okay. Okay. I'm out to go to the oh geez. Okay, let's go to the main source. Can you hear this? Can you hear now?
Not yet.
We are the actual YouTube now, or the main source. But can you hear still?
No.
Okay.
Or you want to share the link for me? I can share from here.
I'll do that, yes. I'll do that now. Yeah, perfect. I'll share more. There's another one coming up. I'll post it to the chat.
Okay.
Apologies. Okay, you have to allow to optimize sound when you're about to share. Okay. Optimize sound. Share sound. I see. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Let's have a look now.
Would have a better understanding of what it's like. So imagine you would have to read.
Can you hear now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Thanks for that. We learn day by day. Okay, let's have a look again.
This simulation will give you an idea of what it's like to be dyslexic. As a dyslexic myself, I always wish that people would have a better understanding of what it's like. So imagine you would have to read the following text out loud to your classmates. Imagine your teacher telling you to just put in a little more effort and to try again. You might wonder, is this actually what you see when you're reading as a dyslexic? And the answer is no. But dyslexics struggle with something that is called phonemic awareness, which is basically the ability to decode the written word. And to my knowledge, this is the best way we can simulate it.
Okay. As you can see, that's just a simulation to put us in their shoe, to have that empathy. So sometime when we ask them to read, we're still going to go into the definition anyway. Don't let me.
This simulation will that the following text out loud.
So now we need to address some myth and misconceptions. So the most important aspect of dyslexia to know what are the causes is genetic and hereditary. So if you have it as a parent, there's approximately between 40 to 60% chance your child will have it. That's just how Allah has planned it. Everything happened for a purpose. There's hikmah, there's wisdom to it. So this is just nothing you can do about it. As a dyslexic parent, you have a child or two that are dyslexic. You haven't become maybe your parent are dyslexic. So, and it's not caused by seeing words backward. Nor is it caused by environmental factors during or after pregnancy, and it's not linked with intelligence. This point I have to emphasize on it because this is one of the, I don't want to use the word injustice, but that's what I can find right now. To a dyslexic people or a child being called stupid lazy, not smart. We just judge his inability to decode what to read. We use that to judge its entire existence when it comes to intellectual capacity. That is absolutely false, and it's something we need to educate people about. For whoever is not here today, we can share wherever we've gathered the insight and share with them. So it's not linked with intelligence and does not affect creativity. As you're going to find out later in the presentation, some of the famous people that you know, Einstein, Albert Einstein, and the likes of Muhammad Ali, and many more, they are dyslexic. They are dyslexic, you know. So dyslexia is not a limitation. So in fact, some see it as a gift. But anyway, going on. So creativity, it doesn't have to be the creativity, problem solving, or the ability to think critically. It's just ability to read. It has nothing to do with the intellectual advancement. And also with the right kind of program, the brain can be rewired to read more efficiently. And finally, dyslexia is not spiritual. There's no need to do, oh, this guy, know everything. Okay, this guy cannot read at this age. What do you do? Okay on him. Okay, dyslexia is real. It's not a spiritual thing. You know, something is spiritual in terms of what I mean by spiritual. It's not like, oh, someone did, you know, say, you know, for the benefits of our audience that are not Muslim, we talk voodoo, you know, or black magic, you know, on him. That's why he couldn't read. I'm not saying that does not exist, but not everything we attribute or attach with that. Some kids just happen to be born like that. And who are our dyslexic students and children? So the dyslexia is a learning difficulty. I put difficulty in substitution to disability because, you know, in our African community, generally disability is something that we want to run away from, which is far from reality anyways. So dyslexia is a learning difficulty or disability that makes reading, spelling, and language-related tasks harder. That's what it is. So it happened because of disruption in how the brain processes information in different way. So people with dyslexia may find it hard to remember what they read or hear, and they can also have challenges with organization and other learning tasks. So dyslexia is it falls under the umbrella of specific learning disorder, okay, SLD. So which includes the three main parts are the dyslexia, which are associated with reading, dysgraphia, which we'll be doing another in the near future, which are associated with writing, and dyscalculia, associated with mathematics. So this is something that we need to be aware of. So there's different definition, but this definition encompasses all other definitions. It's a learning difficulty that makes reading and language related tasks harder. So if you look at the picture, non-impaired, a brain of someone who is efficient reader, non-dyslexic people, and dyslexic one. So, you know, they have to compensate, you know, what they don't have with what they have. So I don't want to go into details. I'm not a neurosurgeon or neurologist, but based on my understanding and finding in my little knowledge I've gathered is, you know, there is more to do with the brain and how it's wired. So for the fact that they're even trying to read, that is commendable because their brain is not wired the same way as others. But that also gives them their own advantage because they see things differently as they try to decode words and they try to read. Along the way, they're seeing things differently. So when it comes to conversational tasks, when it comes to creativity, you often find dyslexic people on top. So again, dyslexia is a neurological difficulty and not physical problem. It's not physical problem. So when people hear disability, they automatically attach it to physicality. So it's not a physical problem. And it's just, like I said, different how the brain processes information, genetic, and important to know it's a lifelong condition. It's not like my son or my daughter is dyslexic, grade 7, class, then grade 8, all is done. Yeah, that can happen miraculously. Anything can happen as a believer. But at the same time, we need to know this is not the norm. So there will be some sort of something put in place, learning program, and some intervention accommodations that will allow them to, excel in this task. Like I said, it doesn't look the same in all people. The aspect of dyslexia is visual, the visual processing, difficulty, mixing up letters, D and B, not sure which one is which, seeing word that is definitely different as the same. Auditory processing, dyslexic, when it's too noisy, they find it difficult to concentrate. Working memory, it takes them to pick up stuff. Something that you read one time and understand what they're saying. A dyslexic child can take longer. He might need to read that 3 times, which also means the processing speed is low. Phonological processing also is affected in terms of seeing words, especially some words in English that is not pronounced how they're spelled. That is a challenge for them. So dyslexia varies in severity. So dyslexia exists on spectrum, okay? And it generally described in 3 degrees. We have mild dyslexia, we have moderate dyslexia, and we have severe. Severe one is on the high end of the spectrum, and then moderate one and the mild. None of it should be taken for granted, because a mild dyslexia can become a severe dyslexia over time if nothing is done, such as early intervention, paying attention to the child from the early age. So, and the mild dyslexia may cause maybe occasional reading or spelling difficulties, but often going undetected. In fact, I was joking with my wife, who is dyslexic, by the way, a proud author of 5 books. So she's dyslexic and she's author of 5 children books, just to show on another side that a dyslexic person is not limited to what they can achieve. So he was like, I need to do the test and do the assessment, the diagnostic test. Am I dyslexic myself? Because some of the sign is there every now and then, which I'm yet to do. So the moderate dyslexia leads to ongoing struggle with the reading fluency. So this is different from mild. This is a B intense. So the spelling and the written expression also require targeted support. Support is needed. This one you can see, you can detect it if you pay attention to the child. Unlike mild, it can go undetected. In fact, some of them don't want you to detect them. They compensate for the inability to read with their strength, which we will still come to later in the presentation. Severe dyslexia can make reading and writing extremely difficult, with schoolwork taking much longer and requiring consistent assistance. So a work that would take 15 minutes homework, the child could be there an hour and a half, start to do it. And this is when they need us the most. But fortunately, we tend to compare the children. Okay, I don't have it. How do we know we don't have it? Because all my children do not have it except this one. Yeah, that's the whole point. Okay, so if you don't have it, the father could have it, and it could also pass down from the grandparent also. Okay, so the signs to look for in young learners, these are the young learners, the signs to look for. Mispronouncing words, okay, word is a mob, do food. These are the more severe case. So mispronouncing words, this is the early sign. Mixing of letters that look familiar. D and B, like I said, P and Q, mixing of sequence of letters, difficulty connecting letter to sound, slow reading speed. This is one of the biggest indicators. Slower writing output, although that has to do with dysgraphia, and difficult following direction or instruction. We have to be very explicit when we're giving instruction to people with dyslexia. So this is another video that will allow me to sip a bottle of water. So while you guys listen, and this is a very good 4 minutes video. It's a tech talk video, which is very beneficial. So let me know if you can hear the sound. I hope it's working. Admin. Audible? Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. You can hear the video?
Yes.
Okay.
Take a moment to read the following.
Oh, sorry, I didn't play.
I think that stopped playing, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
How was that? Frustrating? Slow? What were those sentences about? They're actually a simulation of the experience of dyslexia, designed to make you decode each word. Those with dyslexia experience that laborious pace every time they read. When most people think of dyslexia, they think of seeing letters and words backwards, like seeing B as D and vice versa. Or they might think people with dyslexia see saw as was. The truth is, people with dyslexia see things the same way as everyone else. Dyslexia is caused by a phonological processing problem, meaning people affected by it have trouble not with seeing language, but with manipulating it. For example, if you heard the word cat and then someone asked you, remove the C, what word would you have left? At. This can be difficult for those with dyslexia. Given a word in isolation like fantastic, students with dyslexia need to break the word into parts to read it. Fan, tas, tick. Time spent decoding makes it hard to keep up with peers and gain sufficient comprehension. Spelling words phonetically like S-T-I-K for stick and F-R-E-N-S for friends is also common. These difficulties are more widespread and varied than commonly imagined. Dyslexia affects up to 1 in 5 people. It occurs on a continuum. One person might have mild dyslexia, while the next person has a profound case of it. Dyslexia also runs in families. It's common to see one family member who has trouble spelling, while another family member has severe difficulty decoding even one-syllable words like catch. The continuum and distribution of dyslexia suggest a broader principle to bear in mind as we look at how the brains of those with dyslexia process language. Neurodiversity is the idea that because all our brains show differences in structure and function, we shouldn't be so quick to label every deviation from the norm as a pathological disorder, or dismiss people living with these variations as defective. People with neurobiological variations like dyslexia, including such creative and inventive individuals as Picasso, Muhammad Ali, Whoopi Goldberg, Steven Spielberg, and Cher, clearly have every capacity to be brilliant and successful in life. So here's the special way the brains of those with dyslexia work. The brain is divided into 2 hemispheres. The left hemisphere is generally in charge of language and ultimately reading, while the right typically handles spatial activities. fMRI studies have found that the brains of those with dyslexia rely more on the right hemisphere and frontal lobe than the brains of those without it. This means when they read a word, it takes a longer trip through their brain and can get delayed in the frontal lobe. Because of this neurobiological glitch, they read with more difficulty. But those with dyslexia can physically change their brain and improve their reading. With an intensive multisensory intervention that breaks the language down and teaches the reader to decode based on syllable types and spelling rules, the brains of those with dyslexia begin using the left hemisphere more efficiently while reading, and their reading improves. The intervention works because it locates dyslexia appropriately, as a functional variation in the brain, which naturally shows all sorts of variations from one person to another. Neurodiversity emphasizes this spectrum of brain function in all humans and suggests that to better understand the perspectives of those around us, we should try to not only see the world through their eyes, but understand it through their brains.
So it emphasized what we've been talking about. about 30 minutes ago. So these are the 10 truths about teaching kids with dyslexia. So kids will learn to read eventually. That is very important to know. So children will lead, children with dyslexia often read later than peers, but they will catch up in their own time. So sometime at the age of 12, usually, or before that, parents should stay patient. So it's very important parents stay patient and encourage them and use audiobooks and some of the tools I'm going to be sharing at the end of the presentation. Secondly, spelling may remain a challenge. Even an adult that suffer from dyslexia might have spelling, and for some reason, people still in 2025, unfortunately, the world we live in, people still judge how vast, how educated an individual is with spelling, or you should be able to spell that. And secondly, I would like to remind us that not be able to read adequately or efficiently doesn't make one illiterate. So illiterate, the word being illiterate itself is not be able to read in any language at all. So someone who can read in Arabic language but struggle to read is dyslexic in English language due to the alphabetical or the phonological differences. And we still label, oh, he's illiterate, he cannot read. That definitely he cannot read, but it could also mean he's not educated, he didn't go to school. But spelling is not the thing we should be using to label people as uneducated or is not that clever or that is not smart, especially for children who needs the most confidence from us. They need the confidence from us the most. So, and also spelling check, there's different things, speech to text, some resources that we can use to improve that. The school year can be hard. It can be long for them. So students with dyslexia often face struggles with mathematics, that's under dyscalculia or spelling and writing. And the education look different as well. Unfortunately, we teach everyone the same. We expect the same outcome, with a different outcome. So dyslexic children would need at least an hour to do a particular work, but we give them to finish in 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So he's only done half of the work. And the other half of the work, you get zero. He didn't do it because it's decoding the word as he's reading it. So you have to decode the words phonetically. Then he has to understand it comprehension-wise. And yet, we judge him like the rest of the children. So, and we say we're giving everyone equal level of education, which is not the case in this scenario. Also, despite challenges, many go on to succeed academically, which is why if you know anyone with dyslexic, be it mild, be it moderate or severe, and they happen to complete the university degree or even high school, is commendable. But yet we go another level. Oh, I should have got all A's. Look how someone's son, look at your friend, he's got all A's or all B's, without considering that this is a dyslexic person. And he's in there toe to toe with the rest of the children. And then he still excel in his own right. Even to complete an higher education, a dyslexic person, mild or moderate, is moderate or severe, is something that should be encouraged. Without any support, without any intervention, no accommodation, some of these children, they still excel. For the fact that they don't even know themselves that they're dyslexic. They just think, what's wrong with me? I don't know. I'm trying to understand. It's just not going in. So also, their education looks different. Like I said, the student might excel in other things. So real life often get easier. So like I said, most of the people that they mentioned, Muhammad Ali, Einstein, their real life is different from their academic life. So you will not even know someone is dyslexic or they've been through that path because of what they've achieved. They are outside the box thinkers. They excel outside the box. This is one of the strengths of dyslexic people. Anything that have to do with to think, to look at things differently, they excel in that. Accommodation and assistive technology are essential, very important to accommodate them, very important to assist them with the tools that they need. So that can aid their You can help them to be able to read well, to be able to spell well, and be able to catch up with the rest of the people. Dyslexic people can do anything. Dyslexia is not all bad. You know, it's not the end of the world, and at the same time, it's not all easy in either. So it requires a lot of effort and support. Now, what are the strengths of dyslexic? They have strong memory. They have strong memories to solve for story. They excel in puzzle solving skills. You know, some of them, they're quite good in mathematics. And we have some students, they have combined dysgraphia and dyslexia. Hate maths, they can't function well in mathematics class, and at the same time, English class, the reading is difficult for them. So they're dyslexic, they dysgraphia mathematics, they dysgraphia, they cannot write, Dyscalculia, they can solve mathematics equation or to even sit in a class. They're great conversationalists. They can engage, you can speak to them, you know, because they compensate for their inability to read. They're wonderfully imaginative, they're abstract thinkers, and many other strengths that they have, and they're critical thinkers as well. So again, you can see the compensation, where the compensation comes from. You know, they might not be able to efficiently or adequately read at a given moment in time, especially when there's no support, but yet they compensate for that with their strength. So, like I said, at early age, side to look out for. The sign of dyslexia in an adult and children may not look the same. So, but in general, individuals with dyslexia have trouble with this following: decoding sound to sound out words, decoding, encoding, spelling words, and fluency, reading at a good pace without mistakes. So that's the definition of fluency. And these are the three major general things that can give you the sign if someone is dyslexic or not. And early intervention is very important. So it's so important that it allows you to take them to comprehensive standardized assessment. So as soon as you suspect that they have reading or spelling issue, then you're able to make a plan and know to be aware of the concerns, you know, with dyslexia. And how dyslexia affects self-esteem. Now, this is where parents comes in and teachers. You know, this is one of the most important aspects of this presentation. Self-esteem. Dyslexic pupils or children, due to repeated failure and frustration, when they see their peers advancing while they struggle, they may feel inadequate. This is one of the biggest signs. They will feel like a failure. They will feel like they are not doing enough. And on top of that, if the teacher now label them as lazy, or I hope, you know, the world we live in, some teacher will not go as extent as saying you're not smart, you're dullard, or, you know, you're too slow, you're a slow person. So these will just will go in line, you consolidate with what they're already thinking, how they're feeling already. So, and that could be detrimental to them. There's a statistic that link dyslexia to depression, to suicide. But I don't want to include that here because, you know, but it's just important to note. Secondly, anxiety and avoidance. So many dyslexic students fear reading. Like I said earlier, if you notice that, you know, it's better to just let them volunteer. Who would like to read? I need 3 readers. That's what I do in my classroom. I need 3, 4 readers. They put their hand up, I call them. Dyslexic students usually they don't want to read, but sometimes you let them be in a comfortable position, and one-on-one, you can let them read the same thing the students have read in the classroom to give them the sense of engagement. But if they choose not to want to read, then it's better to leave them because, you know, you can't control the reaction of other students. And also, to read aloud, complete written tasks in front of their peers, leading to avoidance behavior. So you want them to be in your class so you can help them, or even siblings, but at the same time, you don't want to put them, expose them due to vulnerability, expose them to ridicule. Now, the strategy to boost self-esteem is important to focus on their strengths. So to highlight their talent, maybe in sport, art, technology, to help them to see the value beyond reading difficulties. So there's more to reading. So there's more to reading. So they know they have strength in other areas, which some of their peers might not have. Another strategy to boost their self-esteem or confidence is to provide alternative assessment. This is something many schools they haven't been able to offer till now, especially when you don't have special education need department, academic support department. But we encourage any principal listening today, any teacher, to suggest this to your school. So it's very important to rather relying on traditional tests, offer varied assessment methods. Okay, he can't read. Can they be read to him? So he can answer the question. He can write. Can he do, or he can read? Can you do text to speech? They write it, they play it, or you listen to it, and so on and so forth. Using positive reinforcement. So it's important to celebrate their effort over, celebrate effort over perfection. We should expect perfection. We are not perfect ourselves. Perfection only belongs to Allah. So the like command. So encouragement to help them build resilience. So any achievement, anything they've done, they put their effort into it. We should commend it and celebrate it. Educate peers about dyslexia. This is very important. This is why we're doing this. Raising awareness, go on and raise awareness among your peers, among your friends, parents, especially, to allow us to have these children in our care and support them. Inevitably prevent bullying and create a culture of empathy. It's easy to sympathize with people, but empathizing people is one of the most difficult one because we haven't been there. We're not in the shoe, and we're not ready to put ourselves in the shoes. So it's very important to learn to put oneself in other people's shoes so you can see from their lens and to know how they might be feeling. So, which is why we're here today. Now, how dyslexia present in school at home might be different. So in school, you will see they might look slow, hesitant to read. Like I said, they often avoid reading, frequently spelling it wrong, especially familiar words. They have trouble copying from board to the notebook. I remember when we were studying, Nigeria, they have a lot of you need to write and copy it down. And it takes, some people finish that early, and some of us, some students, it takes them time. In fact, the teacher will say, I'm going to rub this part off so you can continue writing. By the time the teacher have written a new information, the guy is still on the first one. So this is some of the ways that dyslexia present in school. The difficulty in remembering instruction, unless it's repeated or broken into steps. That's another thing. We need to break things into steps for them. Chunking is code. Okay, do this. Once you've done this, they will tell you they're done. Okay, this is the next one. Rather than when you're done with this, move on to this next one. When you're done with that one, go to the next one. Excuse me, you've lost them. Okay, let them complete one task first because you don't know how long it will take them anyway. So once you give them 4 different tasks to do in one go, and they see how they struggle with the first one, they're dejected. So break things down into small pieces, chunking. Confusion with similar looking letters, B and T, P and Q, difficulty organizing written work, and to keep it neat. That is Dysgraphia. Their writing will go like that. They cannot write a straight line. They mix up here Dysgraphia and dyslexia, but it's similar difficulty. And they struggle with time test or test under pressure. That's something we need to know because they are aware they're not the same with the rest of the peoples. And how it's shown at home, they want to avoid homework that involves reading. So it takes much longer to complete the reading assessment. They find it hard to remember days of the week in sequence. Frequently losing belongings, they forget their bag, they lost their tablet, they forget things easily. These are some of the signs how it presents itself at home. They may resist bedtime reading, anything out to do with reading, and can show strong verbal skills in conversation, but weak in the written work. Now, for teachers, teach correct sounds and graphemes. It's very important. We don't teach letters, but sound. It's very important because first they need to know the correct sounds and the letters. So our letters combination, which is grapheme, so we can't assume that they've mastered this or they know the letters and then the alphabet. We need to show them, play it for them, and let them repeat it until they're confident to be able to say it and write it down, spell it out. We need to show how to decode words. So next, we have to teach them how to decode a word step by step, simply by saying the sound, say the sound out. And by saying the sound out doesn't work. Oh, L, L. It doesn't, because they might not know how. So it might be explicit here. And also, we need to use control, use control connect to connect word controlled, to connect word and avoid guessing. So I have some example here. For example, short sentences and passages. We can give it to them and allow them to decode words. Build fluency, vocabulary comprehension, and make reading meaningful and enjoyable. This one, many students, they hate reading because it's just like mental gymnastic. They're just reading. There's nothing to it. It doesn't attach to the real life world. It doesn't intrigue them. It doesn't excite them. But when we make reading exciting and meaningful, maybe something they're interested in, and that will help them. That will encourage them to want to read, even though they might struggle at the beginning, but they enjoy reading and practice help. And I'm coming towards the end of my. I'm trying to wrap up. According to National Reading Panel, evidence-based reading instruction must include 5 components. Now, these 5 components must be included in any planning someone wants to have a dyslexic child. The phonemic awareness is very important, which is the ability to identify and manipulate individual words in spoken word. Systematic phonics, to be able to connect between letters and sound they represent, so allowing for decoding words. Number 3, reading fluency is very important. We need to include that part of our plan for them. So if you want to make a lesson plan as a teacher, let's be inclusive in our planning. Let's consider some of the students we know they have the sign or the confirmed dyslexic based on their diagnostic results. So reading fluency is very important to reach me to be able to read smoothly, accurately, with appropriate expression. Vocabulary, knowing the meaning of words, need to understand the text. So, and finally, comprehension, the ability to understand the meaning of what is read. So these 5 things is very important to be included in a plan. Now, these accommodation modification, people with dyslexia, we need to give them whatever they need to succeed if we have it. So extra time for the exam, a dyslexic child given extra time when he's writing the test or exam. If you can't describe, although that's another, if you can afford it, a scribe, someone that'll be writing for the child, give them rest break. Okay, as they're doing the exam, they need rest break because of how much exhaustion that might have happened in the brain, and have separate invigilation for them. If they're in the exam hall and everyone is finishing, everyone is going home, other children might feel like they've been favored. They've been favored. How come they have extra time? Or they might feel like they're leaving early. Oh, wow, they finished. Why am I still here? So they can have a separate invigilation. This is not spoiling them. This just try to assist them to excel because of the situation. Material, audio recording, text to speech. I'm going to share that now. And to make our instruction explicit. We should not assume that they know. What are we going to do today? I want you to write your name, your last name, so your name in the beginning, then followed by your last name. Be explicit in your instruction. And so talking about famous people, these are some of the famous people that are dyslexic, that is known, including Muhammad Ali, including Lewis Hamilton. Helpful strategy for dyslexia. I think I've mentioned this already. It's just that in a different place. Now, dyslexia is real. This just is summary to summarize, to sum things up, because we have a game at the end, which I want everyone to join. We have a game, we have a Kahoot game just to test our knowledge about dyslexia. So it's real, it's common, it's lifelong. Okay, with the right support, people with dyslexia can get better at reading. Many thriving, adults with dyslexia say it happened, it helped them to become more creative and resilient. Some trouble areas, we mentioned that sound out writing words, recognize common words in text, spelling, reading accurately, rhyming, writing. And this dyslexia isn't a problem of intelligence. This is very important. If you don't take anything from this session, this is one of the things I would love you to take. Very important. Isn't a problem of intelligence, not laziness, no vision. It's not like the eye cannot see, they're seeing word differently. No, they're not seeing word backward. It's not a vision problem. Okay. And they're not reading letter backward, like I said. Okay, so, and we mentioned the ways that we can use to help them. So these are the learning tools which I'm going to copy. I'll try and copy and paste that, or you can just take a picture. For anyone that that struggle with reading, one of the best, number one, text to speech. You put the text and you just read it out to you. Okay, as you read it out to you, then when it's your turn to read, you get used to that. Natural reader, that's another tools for people with reading difficulty, dyslexic people, which you put your text and they read it to you. Again, for reading wise, Dolphin Easy Read, Open Dyslexia. This one is a font. Dyslexia also, we need to consider how we want to make this easy for them. So there's a special font they can use. So this one will tell you what font you can use whenever you want to deal with a dyslexia people. Use this font to set your task or set the assessment for him. Speech to text. This one is on Google Drive. The link is there. Just type speech to text. You say it and it'll be writing down. You'll be saying it and AI will be writing it down, and you can copy and paste that into the text to speech to listen again to what's written. And audiobooks. Audiobooks is very, very important for our dyslexic peoples, because they can see the letter, they will try and read it, but the fact that they listen to it, it's like you remember as you're reading the Quran, you're not sure of the word, but when you're listening to recitation, okay, now you know next time this is how it's pronounced. This is how it should be said. So audiobooks, we have 2 audiobooks, and other resources about dyslexia is available here. So these are the referencing that I use, which is Dyslexia and others. And special thanks to African Dyslexia Organization for allowing me to use some of their slides. You can reach them. They have different conference regarding dyslexia, different time of the year. So you can put them on the Telegram, WhatsApp, and then these is the social media handle, Instagram, X and the likes. And this is a YouTube page, you can subscribe, and this is a website. So thank you very much. And I'll hand over to the admin. I'll try to rush through because of time. So thank you for your time. If you have any question, we'll take that, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Abu Abdullah, for this good presentation. It's quite amazing to have this kind of a presentation, even for free. And we really appreciate your effort to put all this information together for us. And really, really, really interesting. Yes, we are coming to the end of the program, but we may have 1 or 2 questions. If you feel you have 1 or 2 clarifications.
In the meantime, maybe the question will be answered. We have a quick game to play. So I'm going to put a link for you. I'm going to put a link now. We have 8 questions I would like to ask you. Let me just get the code. 1 minute. Okay. I'm going to post this link on the chat, and I want you to join the game. It's just 8 questions regarding the seminar.
Well, I'll be glad to hear. There's a question on the chat.
Ms. Salami, we will come. Okay. Okay, maybe I should answer the question first. Apart from the being in the yes, that's a very good question. Can Sonia have this link? Okay. I think let me answer the question before the game there. That is most important. Okay. Let me start on the top. Those with this, can we show them in the front? I've mentioned that. Thank you for that. We cannot. Olodo Avatar. This is very important. I would like to mention that, Allah that created us said Allah has made oppression haram upon himself, and is our creator, and has made oppression haram between us. So to call someone out, whether you know he has disability or not, and this is what we do in the past. It might work, but because something works, it doesn't make it right. So, Olodo Abata, Nilo paper, for non-Nigerian, participant here, allow me to just use the language that resonates well with my people. So, this means to shame them and look at you, he's dumb and dullard, he doesn't know anything. You've been using paper, you've been using the slate. So anyway, we can't do that. We can't shame. We can't name and shame. In fact, someone got in the exam out of 100. I've seen a student got 17. And I will even mention that, okay, this is the person that got 17. I just know there's an issue here. We can't do that. And secondly, we can't compare students, because we never tested the disabled dyslexic child on his strength. We were testing him on his weaknesses, on his challenges, and all of us are created differently. We have our own challenges in life. We have our own strength. So it's like a child that's visual learner now. He likes to see things, but all his life is learning through textbooks, through theories, and he's never been shown things. He's never taken to vocational college. He's never taken to vocational seminars where he can use his hand, he can see things, he can create things. But then we shame them on the weaknesses. And then the other one that's winning, or they're doing well, because we test them on their strength. So every child, have their strength and weaknesses. We don't know that's something different, but we will not, put on them, look at you, what did you get? If we know what our children go through, the pressure that they come from, my mom will kill me. It shouldn't be like that anymore. You shouldn't, on education, and to even beat someone, you cannot read. I've seen it before. You cannot read, you can't read because the guy is decoding information. He's trying to read. On top of the pressure of not being able to read that he knows, you're telling me he can't read, he's stupid, and you're smacking him. What could be more oppressive than that? So and we wonder, something's happening in our life, we don't know, because in our home, close to us, we have been oppressive. I never stole anyone money. I've never done anything bad. Why is this happening? Because you've been oppressive without knowing, to your own child or to someone else's child. And as a teacher, they spend more time with us than the parents. That's even worse, to oppress someone else's child and you have your own children. So, I tend to find it, I don't want to say that someone is lazy, except I know them. They say that I've just been lazy. But we can't assume it's dumb, it's stupid. We need to, sometimes I know in my class, some students, the most severe when it comes to dyslexia, he's got all the 4. Dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, dysnomia. He can't do anything. But guess what? I did a game that he loves, map of the country. You said in his language, but he's one of the best. Cars, just a game to just give him that this guy, he knows. So in his team, he's winning for them. This guy is so good in cars. He knows every car. He knows every flag. Now it's very important now. After all, I'm not all stupid in all area of life. I can function. I've got my own strength. So these are the things that we can use. So we can't do that. So can a student have dyslexia in a particular subject? Yes. Yes, that like I said, some people have no issue in Arabic. They dyslexia in English, but in their native language, Arabic, they're fine. They read the well, they're fluent, but English just one difficult to decode. And same as literacy, some students can read in their language, but you can't read English. You know, you just some people cannot read any language, but they can read Yoruba language, you know, our tribe, for anyone listening that are not Nigerian. So, but people don't see that as, well, if you cannot read English, no, English is not the epitome of intelligence or how educated someone is. English is just a language. English is not part of the IQ test. In fact, they don't use English as part of the IQ test. Language is not part of IQ test. So you will see some dyslexic, they have very high level of IQ. That shows you it's not nothing to do with intelligence. So yes, apart from being inherited for my research, any trauma, brain trauma can trigger that, or brain injury, trauma to the brain, can trigger one dyslexic, you know, almost like regressing, not be able to read how you used to, or is delay speech. So these are the things, but the most common is inherited, is hereditary, genetic. I hope I answered that question. Is there another question? Yes. Okay. And now I think we can go through the game now. I would love to give the winner the top 5, the top 3 gift, but I'll give the top 3 though. Okay, this is the link. We'll start the game about the session. Click on the link, it will take you to the Kahoot, and you type this code. I'm going to give you the code to type. Okay. Can you see my screen? What can you see? Or you can scan this barcode. You can scan this. Admin, can you see the new screen?
Yes.
You can scan this QR code, or you type in the code. You can use a name that we don't know is you. I don't want my good friend to be exposed.
To see this. Okay.
I don't want my good friend to be exposed. Don't use a name. Don't use a real name. Where's his volume? Let's try. I have 19 people here. Come on, let's all get involved to make it to show that you're with me throughout the session. It's not just take leave. I was saying, I haven't seen any sign of you here. I know these 2 people that are here. Okay, we have 4. Because once we start, it might be difficult to. We have 4 participants. And it's important to mention that, you know, parents and teachers, we need to work hand in hand. And it's very important. All I'm just giving you just a sign, but the actual diagnostic test need to be done. Once you've seen the sign, you know what? Let's start to prepare something. Let's try to consider this child when we're doing our lesson. You know, avoid labeling. It's okay. You make mistake, they're laughing, and don't laugh. It just, you know, everyone have different challenges and troubles. And some people, they're amazingly good at math. They don't have this dyscalculia. They're very good at math. You know, it's only in the reading. Can we start? I think 1, 2, we have 6. We have 6. Anyway, I'm going to put the number to join in. 369 632. 369. Okay, I didn't put it. Code 369 632 6. Okay, let's start. Only 6 from 19 participants. We start because of time. Okay. Dyslexia is primarily affect a person's ability to what? Just click on the answer. Ability to what? Is it to hear sound, to read and spell quickly, to see clearly, to speak fluently? No one have locked in the answer. You have 20 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Someone said see clearly. See clearly. Except you also mean to see the letter clearly, but it's not, it's more to decode the letter. Anyways, this is the stand. The warrior is winning. And that's the second place. Okay, let's go. Dyslexia is caused by laziness or lack of effort, true or false. The quicker you are, the more extra point you get. Okay. The answer false. Dyslexia is not caused by laziness or lack of effort. Okay, Mandazi has taken over. What percentage of the population is estimated to be dyslexic? One in what? You have to be quick to get the extra mark, extra point. So this is the game pin here if you want to join us. The link is on the chat. Wow. Wow, there's some confusion somewhere. Once a 1 in 10, the latest information I have, 1 in 5. That's the latest studies, 1 in 5. I didn't mention 1 in 10 in the section. I should be finding people, 1 in 5 people are dyslexic. Wow, Mandazi. Which of the following is not a myth about dyslexia? Which one is not? Is not a myth. Dyslexia is a spiritual problem. Dyslexia means children are not intelligent. Dyslexia is neurological difference. Dyslexia can be outgrown. Wow. You have no time. No one has answered that question. Wow. Dyslexia cannot be outgrown. That's a myth. I can't say once you're dyslexia, always the dyslexia. Yeah, closer to that. Maybe from severe, you can become mild, but you're always going to be dyslexic. Okay. But it can change dramatically to mild. But let's see. Okay. You have 20 seconds for each question. 3 more questions to go. Dyslexia can be completely cured with medication. True or false? Twenty seconds per question. 20 seconds. The answer is false. Dyslexia cannot. Okay, are we not going to repeat this session? Why? Dyslexia can be completely cured by medication. No, it can't be. It's not a medical condition. It's a neurological difficulty. The brain, no matter what you use, it's not a medical condition. It's not a physical condition. Maybe those that answer that question, they join us late. They just guess. 2 more questions to go. Which area is the most affected by dyslexia? Which area? Is it language processing, visual memory only, emotional intelligence, muscle coordination? 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. This one is a tough question. No one answers. Thank you. Language processing, not visual memory only. He said only. And it's not enough to do emotional intelligence. In fact, dyslexic people, they're very emotional intelligent. Enough to do with the muscle coordination. It's not physical condition. And one more and last. Children with dyslexia often have strong creative and problem-solving skills. True or false? Children with dyslexia often have strong creative and problem-solving skills. True. And last question. Why is early identification of dyslexia important? Why? Is it to label children early? The word label? To provide timely support and build confidence? To reduce schoolwork permanently? To separate them from their peer? Alhamdulillah. This one, my heart was beating fast, thinking someone would get it wrong. There's no such thing as early labeling. We don't label. That's not our point. We don't identify them early so we can label them. So at podium, thank you very much for Mr. Saadat Diroya, and our winner is Mandazi. That will be Mr. Anthony. Thank you for your time. If there's any question, you can please proceed and ask.
Thank you, Alhamdulillah, for this good presentation, and we equally thank all the participants for coming on board for this beautiful presentation. It was interesting to have you here. I hope and I believe next time we have such a program, you'll be coming up to join us as well.
Just to inform everyone, it's going to be a series. So we started on dyslexia. We have Dyscalculia, we have Dysgraphia, we have autism, we have ADHD. These are the common learning difficulties and disabilities that our children, we can't hide from the reality. Our children, our pupils in school, they are facing. So it's very important that we are equipped with the right skill set and tools to deal with it and to help them, including our own children. And that's why PowerX Academy, I would like to thank PowerX Academy for making this putting up with this initiative. So yeah, stay tuned for future workshop.
Yes, next week we'll be talking about the business, and it will be business seminar, business 101, and to be on the same platform at the same time. So we enjoy everyone to join the program. It's going to be interesting as well. Thank you so much, Abdullah. Hope to see you in the next series.
You're welcome.
Thank you everyone for coming on board. Bye for now.
Bye. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.